Let's start off with the 8-9 matchup. Memphis, Anthony Hardaway. Impressive win. I know Houston backers would say, hey, we didn't have our best player, but still, a win's a win. And now they're going to take on the 9 seed Florida Atlantic. Matt, let me start off with you. Does Penny keep it rolling with the Tigers?
Well, this is interesting. I want to get Wes's view on this game, too, because it seems like 90% of the people who are looking at this are just automatically advancing Memphis in the bracket and saying Memphis is going to knock off Purdue in the second round. Nightmare matchup for Purdue. And just totally dismissing a Florida Atlantic team that's 31-3, okay? And I think that's going to motivate the Owls. They know they're being dismissed here. And they did win at Florida in November. They played a decent schedule. They got 2 sophomore guards, John L. Davis and Elijah Martin, who are good shooters. I'm tempted to play Florida Atlantic because the narrative here that Memphis is just automatically going to coast into the second round and knock off Purdue.
This is not – oh, go ahead.
That said, when you look at the matchup, it does kind of lead you to the Tigers.
Well, it's a short
I think
number.
the situational aspects of this handicap kind of say Florida Atlantic, but when you look at the teams, you match them up on paper, I do like Memphis a little bit.
I'm surprised, Wes, the number is only 2 because of the narrative that Matt just laid out there. It does feel like everybody's back in Memphis, not just here, but to go deeper into this tournament, and yet it's only a 2-point spread.
So that's why I'm waiting to see if this goes up a little bit, like Matt said earlier, or Matt had said in previous discussions. Every half point matters, and I think it will matter here. I like the Owls, and when you look at Memphis, I understand why people are gravitating towards them. They just beat a 1 seed. Yeah, they didn't have Marcus Sasser, but they beat a 1 seed pretty convincingly. They actually beat Houston in 2 regular season meetings last year. However, this was the first time they beat Houston, who's the king daddy of the American Athletic Conference. This is the first time that they beat him for a championship. This is the first championship that Penny Hardaway has ever won. This team, I think, a little bit less talented than last year's team that had a couple one-and-dones with Jalen Duren and then Imani Bates, who's now transferred to Eastern Michigan. A lot less headaches, a lot more team-oriented on this Memphis team, and that's why I think that they've been a better team this year than they were last year. However, when you get that sense of accomplishment, I think with Memphis, when you win a championship and you got to do an immediate turnaround, Florida Atlantic, I think, might be being a little bit disrespected here because this is a team that is very good, and this is a team that can really shoot the 3 well. Memphis gives up a lot of 3-point attempts because they kind of pack it in around the rim. FAU, 37.2%, top 30 in the country, also 32nd in 2-point percentage. They have the athletes, I think, to at least run with Memphis a little bit. Now, I don't think Dusty May is going to want a track meet necessarily in his first time in the NCAA tournament. But this one I'm going to wait on a little bit. I think Memphis might be getting a little bit overpriced. Kendrick Davis, one of the better guards in the country, but still, I think they're just automatically advancing Memphis and thinking that they're going to knock out Purdue in the second round. I tend to disagree with that. I think Matt does as well. So give me FAU if this line keeps ticking up.
Yeah, and Kendrick Davis looks like an NBA guard. Tim Murray of VSiN mentioned he was going to play Memphis on the money line. I think if you can find a cheap money line price on Memphis, play it. But also, I think the public's going to bet this number up to 3 later in the week. You might be able to get the Owls plus 3.
All right, so if you like Florida Atlantic, like you guys are leaning towards, maybe you just wait a little bit and see if you can get the better of the number before we get to tip on Friday. That will be a late game, 9:20 p.m. Eastern time.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.